Honorable IBB.
Honorable Speaker, my distinguished colleagues, my name is Iboro Ekanem, aka IBB. I represent the uncommon people of Ikono in the federal constituency of Akwa Ibom State, the state of uncommon transformation. Honorable Minister, having listened to your proposal today, and in line with our theme, diversification of economy, the real sector development, I have only one question to ask. Mr. Speaker, and Honorable Minister, it is well known that the small and medium-scale enterprises is a major or one of the major driving partners of economy in this nation. Because it spans from the rural community to the urban sector. And my question is, what is the step taken by the government on money and tax policies to assist these small and medium-scale enterprises in the diversification of the economy, knowing very well that the cost of production is directly proportional to the costs, availability, and affordability of power and transport subsector. What is the step taken by the government? And that is my only question. Thank you very much.
Our sectoral debate. We're done with the question and answer sessions, the interactive part of the debate. But we're going to select this again, whereby we would debate everything we've listened to, from the first presentation to this presentation, which is concluding this session of presentation of the sectoral debate. But we're still going to have like a minimum of 2 days whereby we'll debate all the issues, and then as a House we can come up with a resolution with regards to our position on the issue of diversification of the economy, where we are and where we believe we will get to in the next few years. So at this juncture, having pleaded for your understanding, permit me to invite the Honourable Minister to respond.
Those are the enablers of solid minerals. For example, we have a lot of coal that we could extract, but moving it, the cost of moving it from where it is prohibitive. To extract coal, you need power. So we're investing in the things that will facilitate the diversification into agriculture, solid minerals, and other sectors. I was asked about waivers and the economic benefit of waivers. It'll interest you to know that a committee was put together to look at waivers and look at the financial impact of waivers. Over the last 5 years, we have given away 1 trillion naira in waivers. It is quite significant, and we believe that it needs to be looked at. Import duty waivers alone, 503 billion. VAT waivers, 227 billion. We are now going to look at what is the cost benefit of these waivers, what are the jobs that they have created. What we found is that they have been abused in some cases. What we found is the technology that is used to manage them or the methods used to manage them are manual, and therefore there's a lot of manipulation, which we intend to address. I was asked about how many ghost workers were in the Ministry of Finance. I'm not proud to say we found some that were down under the Office of the Accountant General that we have now eliminated in some of our regional offices in the States. I was asked about eyepiece and whether our staff were trained in the latest technology. I want to confirm that we have recognized this problem, and therefore we've got external partners, actually young people, who do the data analysis for us. And they're external at the moment, but as time goes on, we will train our staff to be able to perform that function. Because as was said by the asker of the question, as fast as we move, the fraudsters are equally moving very quickly. But we're up to the task. The BVN exercise has been very, very instructive. It's shown us a lot. The comparison now of state government, and because we encourage state governments to also do BVN check, now we're finding that some people were not only collecting money in state, but they're also collecting in federal. We're now beginning to identify them and remove them from our payroll. I think with the strategies we have in place, and I don't want to speak too much about the type of work that we do, we are confident that we will clean up our payroll. I was asked about the strategies to support SMEs. I think, as I said in my presentation, SMEs are incredibly important for Nigeria. And we are putting in place micro loans for SME growth, and we're reducing the tax rate for small businesses from 30 to 25% to encourage them. The question asked by my honourable sister about gender exclusion is something that I think we're addressing very, very aggressively. I've been very privileged to have worked in a system where we created microloans for women. And I'm proud to tell you, and I told Mr. President this, that the repayment rate for the women was 99.6%. And so the President has approved that a pilot scheme, actually starting in the Northeast, called Jari Mata, should be rolled out to help women. Pronunciation incorrect? Jari Mata, I'm trying. Jari Mata, to help our women. Because what we found is when you give the women the money, and I'm sorry, this is mainly male, but women are very serious about money. And when you put money into women's hands, the children will go to school, they will spend that money in the family. So the President has identified it, and he has asked us, we've worked with the Ministry of Women's Affairs and some banks, we're starting in the 3 states affected with IDP camps, and we're rolling it out nationally to put money into women's hands across the country for their businesses, because we've seen that when women have money for business, the family improves. Women are excellent, excellent managers of resources, and we must encourage them, and we think this is one of the key things that will make Nigeria grow. So up women. Thank you, Honourable. IPs, I was asked about the unbanked sector, and I was asked about the plans for the Northeast. We have been out, some of the engagement that the President has been doing on his trips is talking to the international agencies who want to help rebuild the Northeast, because the Northeast has to be rebuilt. And we need international money to do it, because the level of devastation of infrastructure is unprecedented. And all of the agencies have agreed that they will support us. But of course, before you can rebuild the Northeast, you have to secure it. You cannot go in and rebuild if those elements will simply go back and destroy what we've rebuilt. And the President has put every effort, every financing in place to ensure that the Northeast is first secured and then it can be rebuilt. So I was asked about the unbanked sector and how we bring these people who are currently unbanked into the formal sector. I think the policies of this government will bring more and more people into the formal sector. Improving microfinance, improving access to capital, I think will do that. Then I was also asked about the rate of interest and how we could reconcile the rate of interest and our domestic borrowing plans with our strategies to diversify the economy and to increase lending to the private sector. I said in my presentation that I think it is too easy for banks to lend to government, both state government and federal government. We in the federal government are taking a step to try and move away from the domestic market. When we don't borrow, the banks will be forced to go and look for viable businesses in the private sector that they can support. But also, this budget is also part of that, because one of the reasons that makes some of these businesses unviable is that their power costs are very high, their transport costs are very high. This budget will begin to address that, and I think as we see, as time goes on, we'll see improvement in credit creation for the private sector. I was asked also about the infrastructure gap and measures to attract pension funds and foreign investors. The pension money is, a lot is said about the pension money. We have 6 trillion and people treat it as if it's just available for the taking. This is people's future savings. So we have to be very, very cautious about how we release pension money into investment. I think the first thing we have to do is relax the rules cautiously and with many safeguards so that we don't lose pensioners' money and cause a problem in the future. But definitely we're going to put things in place, such as the infrastructure bonds that we're releasing, that will encourage pension funds to invest, but invest safely. I was asked about the efficiency unit and the costs of the efficiency unit. I'm proud to say that we don't have any private consultants working in efficiency. They're all internal staff, and the external people that work with us are actually donating their time for free to support us. So the efficiency unit is itself very, very efficient. I was asked about looking at procurement of capital items, and I take that point. And then I was asked about rice importation and a unified system of customs assessment. I don't want to pretend to be an expert on such matters, but I will take those points back to the CG Customs and intimate him of those observations. Thank you very much. Honourable Speaker, thank you. Do I have to go on? I should go on.
Thanks for that presentation. So we're discharged.